You hear the screeching of an owl, you hear the wind begin to howl. You know there's zombies on the prowl, and it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. It's terror time again, and you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
Attention! Welcome to Knox, maggots. Hope you're ready for zombie boot camp. Today we've got tire run over the crawlers, followed by hand-to-hand frying pan combat training, and we'll finish it off with a rousing round of zombie flambe. First one on fire is it. Hello everyone, it's Core, and I hope you're ready to tour Knox County again. This time we're covering March Ridge, home of the soldiers of Fort Knox. Before we dive in, I'd like to give a shout out to the always lovely work of Foxfire. Be sure to check out her live streams or artwork down below, and thanks again for supporting the content. Now let's dive in, shall we? A large spacious building where the pious go to pray to their god. Odds are there's probably a few of these pious people left in the building wishing to convert you. Too bad it isn't converting to their god. Now this is a pretty good sized building with a large amount of pews to be broken down for both carpentry, XP, and the resources needed to secure the building. Outside the church is a tool shed with some hardware supplies, and if you're lucky, a generator. Inside the building's also a variety of supplies ranging from hardware in the cupboards to food and drink in the kitchen, and even random office supplies in the priest office. Just don't mind the white stains on the desk and carpet. Overall, it's a decent place to hit, and if you're lucky, you can even score yourself a free bridal outfit and look fly as fuck at your very own red wedding. Plus, the place is located right in the middle of the east housing, making it a prime area to loot the nearby homes. You gotta fill that collection plate somehow, I suppose. Your typical army barracks. Tall as hell, no working elevator, the place is trashed every weekend, no expectations of privacy, and the soldiers are shuffling around like the living dead. Oh wait, they are the living dead! This is an interesting place to base, with tons of room for expansion, and a fantastic base if you could secure the upper floors by destroying the stairwells on each end of the building. Each set of rooms has a small kitchenette where supplies can be found, and a common room located on each floor, with games, books, and other forms of entertainment that can be found. Overall, it's a cool place to take over and base, especially due to its proximity of many other sites of interest within March Ridge. I will note that this building will be crawling with the dead, so take it slow and steady as you clear room to room and floor to floor. And keep in mind that the kitchens don't have ovens nor fridges, so you'll need to find a better source of cooking and food storage if you don't want to have to nuke everything in the microwave. March Ridge's town center is pretty different from the other towns in layout. While West Point or Muldrow or Riverside mostly feature their heart of business in a long strip, March Ridge's is right dead center of the town. This is where their groceries are, their gas station is, all the little shops and boutiques, and even 3 of the other spots on this list if you want to be technical. The gas station and grocery store is a particular note due to how they are connected, allowing you to have quite a substantial base, especially as the grocery store has a second floor, which can be expanded to include the top of the gas station as well. There's also of note a bakery, 2 restaurants, 2 medical centers that include a nice pharmacy, a post office with a metric fuck ton of literature, and even a community center with a ton of literature, and a nice large kitchen on the second floor. So keep your eyes out and your ears sharp, because there's a lot to loot if you could survive the hordes of undead. The entire western side of town is made of identical or near identical houses, much like an actual army base is set up. If you're used to playing at West Point, specifically the area in town that has the very large homes, then you know what to expect here. A lot of variety in the loot, large houses, and tons of areas you could be ambushed from by fairly large amounts of shamblers. Be ready to fight for your stake, but overall it's a pretty good area. You can find pretty much everything you could think of in this area to some degree or another, including generators if you get lucky in the few homes that have tool sheds on their property. Hell, I found 2 houses right beside each other that were survivor houses, and they had tons and tons of guns, so I got real lucky. The same rules apply to the Eastern housing estate, but with significantly less impressive homes. Each of these homes are only 1 story, with the exception of the townhomes, and as such, each house has less looting potential than the Western housing estate. The primary things of note in this area is the church and the main road into town, which are mentioned in entry 1, and a small tool shed by the center, which is beside the church. This is likely NCO housing and enlisted housing due to the Army's love to place useless officers in nice cushy housing segregated far away from the backbone of the military, likely due to the excess weight threatening to snap said backbone. There's some townhouses on the western edge, alongside of the town center, that are larger, 2-story, and have a bit more variety to the loot, but these also make for nice targets for looting in this part of the town. Otherwise, keep an eye out for the few tool sheds dotted around for hardware supplies. Located to the east of the barracks, and this is most definitely a hotspot for all those bored single enlisted soldiers stuck around in the barracks, as well as those dependers and their horde of crotch goblins that follow them around. This place is a decent source of loot, not very huge though, with a very useful 3 stories of space, and due to its minimal number of entrances for a building of this size, it could very well make for an effective base point, and the very large roof that has a nice stairwell access point that can be easily converted into a rooftop garden water collection point. Overall, it's not a bad location for a quick raid or a solid base. Not to mention its proximity to the town center means easy access to all the nearby sources of loot. Schools. The place is hated by children, but loved by survivors. There's a large variety of quality gear to be pulled out of pretty much any school. Between their kitchens that have a good supply of food, rows of lockers that are just loaded with bags, junk items, and weaponry like baseball bats, to the maintenance closets filled with hardware equipment. This one also has a tool shed out back if you can break into it for even more hardware supplies. Plus, this building is located directly across from the community center and right beside the barracks, which if you're basing there, then you have easy access to these areas in the entire town center. Now this just about covers March Ridge. Personally, this isn't my favorite place to raid, nor cover, just due to the fact that compared to the other cities or regions, it's just kind of empty. It's mostly just rows upon rows of identical houses, with most of the interesting buildings all clumped together into one area. But this just about covers everything. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to support Foxfire down below, as well as my social medias and such if you're interested. I greatly appreciate the support. This has been Core, and I'll see you next time.